Hello everybody and welcome to another interview video here on Gamingtrend. My name is Adam and today we are here with Scott O'Gallagher. He has worked fully hands-on with college football 25. Today we're going to talk about college football as well as the speed of the game, how it's changed in the past 11 years. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
I had the opportunity to play 2 games. I played as the University of Tennessee. And
Is that a fan that you are?
I'm a fan of the University of Tennessee.
All
Both
right.
my parents went there, but
Wow.
I went to Middle Tennessee State, and I
Okay.
got to play as them as well.
Sweet.
I got to see my theater building in the background, which was an awesome thing to see. I remember seeing that in some of the older games, and I'm really glad that that was brought back. There's a lot of positive energy. I feel it in the room.
Right.
I feel it with the other people that are here. How do you feel about the product that you have currently, and where do you see everything moving? How do you feel?
Oh man, thank you again. Thanks for having me. It's quite the honor to come back. Again, I was here 13, 14 years ago, and then being away, and then being able to work on this, being able to come home, as I like to say, to work on this title. This, I would argue, is the most anticipated sports game in quite some time.
I would agree.
I've coined that more or less, and whether people agree or not. So there's obviously the pressure there. I think you look at what the ratings have done just in the real world of college football. I mean, astronomically high, right? We're in a different landscape too right now with NIL and the transfer portal, and excuse me, we've got kids in the game now with their names, right? And so just the way that has evolved. I'm excited. I'm more excited now though for guys like yourself and everybody that's been playing the game and just like, this is it. Like, this is the move. We made a lot of, I would say, we put a lot of features in that were not only just for college football, that really just helped move our American football space forward in every way, shape, or form. Whether that's passing, our new wear and tear system. Those things really, take shape in dynasties and RTG. So what am I happy about? I mean, I'm not even trying to backpedal, just pretty much everything. But again, if it doesn't play well in the field, really nothing else matters, right? Yeah. And so that was the big long-winded answer I got you as far as our focus was to drive this home.
And that's a huge thing, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit there with on the field, the speed of the game is so intense. And I've had the opportunity to play a little bit of Madden for this year, and you can tell just the difference in the vibe of just how the ambiance of the stadium, the speed of the plays themselves, and superstars on those teams matter so much because it's just like you have somebody that can rush the passer just that much better than your offensive lineman. You got to get that ball out. How did you guys handle focusing all the different schools, all the different ways of playing, while also keeping it so fast-paced and ready to go?
Great question. First thing was there's 134 schools, and there's 134 ways to play.
Yeah.
So again, a great relationship, as I was mentioning before, with Pro Football Focus and getting in there and make sure we got every little detail that we could get from a schematic point perspective. But we really built like ball out. So like, hey, how does it work in the trenches? I look at like Nick Fairley and his dominance that he had in the national championship game against Oregon. Like, you can impact a game without just shedding or just on power. So really retooled everything in that realm. When it came to just being on the stick, to be honest with you, like being a historian of the game, we look back at like a Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm an SC guy. You look at Peter Warwick, you look at like what Travis Hunter is doing out there now.
Yeah.
We wanted you to get busy on the left stick, right? I know the right stick is more like an advance. We did a lot of stuff there, but we wanted you to be able to almost make that play that Reggie made against Fresno State. I'm kind of dating myself a bit, back in the early to mid 2000s.
I'm a Dolphins fan, so I know Reggie Bush well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and he's a beloved, and with at USC. But that was it. It was like we literally tried to recreate those moments, and if we couldn't, we were like, okay, let's take a look at why. Oh, our pursuit angles may be in this particular way too perfect. So we took a look at that. Hey, what does a good pursuit angle look like for a 99 comparative to a 55? That's the type of detail that we were going to. You didn't ask this, but I'll just elaborate a little bit more on the details, so I apologize. Throw power.
Yeah.
Right? Throw power. Now it's not just how far you can throw it, it's how hard you can throw it. Yeah. So that's another instance of something that we've really just, looked at fine-tooth and
You'll see the difference between a Cam Newton type and a Patrick Mahomes type and a Tom Brady and a Peyton Manning. And I got to see that a little bit with Tennessee versus Middle Tennessee with their quarterbacks. Perfect. It's just, it was a perfect example. Now, here's a question that's looking a little long-term. You said earlier this is one of the most anticipated sports titles of all time.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Awesome.
When it comes to future titles, what's going to keep bringing people back? What's going to be your driving force to move forward with your content?
Man, right now it's just been, to be honest with you, I don't know what what the future holds in that regard. It's been more or less of just like getting this thing out.
Yeah.
And again, like, hey, what does this potential feature look like going forward? We just really tried to just hone in on what we have and just literally just build and build and build and make this thing like you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
There you go.
I know we've all heard that, but I'm trying not to be corny with it. It's the truth.
It's true.
It's like, dude, like we got to come out like. And it's got to be a game buster right from the top, and just like that's what we've decided to do, and then what the future holds, who knows?
Especially with how how many people are excited about this game, and how many people continuously throughout the last 11 years played the last game that came out. It's impressive to see just how much things have changed, and while you still kept the core of the joy of what made those games fun. And the theme that I kept writing down throughout my notes was passion. And what you just said, how you've been talking this entire time, you can tell that this team is extremely passionate and full of people who not only care about this title, but care about college football and American football in general. Last question for you. What's important to you guys when picking people for your team?
Oh man, that's a real. I haven't been asked that one. That's a really good one. Our team, it was a very, very narrow focus. Even the conversations I had about returning to this and how we can pick personnel, to be honest, because it had to be, right? You had to build a particular culture in a way that was going to help you get to where you wanted to get to, right? People that maybe, we wanted to make sure, change is uncomfortable, right? And it is, whether it's here, whether I'm coaching my teams or my kids or whatever, it's like, hey, at the end of the day, we need these type of people to build the culture, a winning culture. It's like we didn't have it before, but it's more or less of like, hey, man, we really got to get here.
Yeah.
It's going to take some steps.
It's that first impression again.
Absolutely. So, we hired a lot of guys, or a handful of guys from the College Revamp Project, which was a big one, and you can see that influence like all the way throughout. So again, this thing from top to bottom is just, passion is everywhere, and you see it before, like you even take your first snap, as you're alluding to, all the traditions and pageantry that's coming in there from multiple commentator teams. There is a ton of depth here, and then I won't even get into modes and how much we're doing on that aspect. But again, everything really was just ball out, build the best thing so you could have literally, you win in the Heisman, you lead in the country in passing. Like now it really, really means something. I did this, and I have this journey in storytelling throughout just the different challenges that you faced.
Now we could keep talking for hours, but we do have a time limit. I just want to thank you so much for telling us a little bit about College Football 25, and you guys will be able to see more in the upcoming months, and you'll be able to play it July 17th. Thank you guys.